that, yes, 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 I would take them in a minute. Okay? So some of the things I want to make sure you're thinking about, just as a tip, okay? You are dressed professionally. Obviously, you're going in there, you are a teacher. Okay, so definitely dress professionally. You will go in the week of spring break, which you know, unless you are a spring athlete, then we've probably already talked to you a little bit. Your information will be in here too that you will get. And then you will go between the last week of school, so somewhere between May 5th and May 16th, you will do that second week. The days need to be consecutive, so 5 consecutive days. Okay, and that goes for that first week too of spring break. I know a few schools in the area have a Monday professional development day or something. Your placement may not have that, but if you do. And so if the school you are in has PD that first Monday, see if you can go to the PD, but you need 5 consecutive student days. Okay, you hear what I'm saying? 5 student days in a row. And if the snow keeps happening, be prepared on that too, because you have to have the 5 days. Okay, student teaching, we do a little bit of act of God days, we call them, but with pre-student teaching, it is a BOT rule. I can't help that, okay? 5 days. Now, with that Monday, let me go back to that student, your pre-student teaching, when you're doing that first week, I probably have to hold still on this thing, don't I? There's not a chance I can. But, so that first week when it is spring break, if they have that Monday off, I've kind of heard that that following week after spring break is...
No methods classes.
Yeah, there are no methods classes,
Yeah.
so that you will be able to do some field experiences. So if you need to go Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, that's consecutive days. Okay? Make sense? Everybody get what I'm saying? Okay? And so that should work. This yellow sheet is going to tell us the dates for that second week, because that week that is May 5th, you may have finals. If you're only in education classes, probably you just have projects to turn in. But if you have a couple other classes that you're still doing and you have a final, you may not be able to get there on May 5th. So again, 5 consecutive days. This second week of your pre-student teaching needs to be the triangle effect. That means you need to agree on the date, your mentor teacher needs to agree on the dates, and your supervisor. They have to work for everybody. Okay? And that is very important. Lots of supervisors are gone. I mean, a lot of them are gone for different vacations or whatever, but they could do this supervision because you would be there 1 week in May. So these dates are pretty set in stone. That first week, really set. This, you have a 2-week window to get those 5 days in, depending on finals. Okay? Some of you won't have finals. You can get there on the 5th and get it done and get your stuff turned in, and we'll post your grade as quickly as we can. Does that make sense to everybody? This has to get turned back into us though, so we know who's out when. Even though the triple effect of you and your mentor teacher and your supervisor, you guys all know we need to know, because we just need to know when people are in the field.
If you could have Marcia email that to us, we can post it in D2L, and then you'll always, if you lose the copy here, you'll have the copy there. You can download it, get all it signed and everything.
Anybody have any questions on what you need to do with this?
Make sure the university supervisor's email confirmation is attached to this yellow sheet.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're going to staple the email back and forth so that it fits on everybody's dates. Does that make sense? Because this is the second week is when they're going to come see you. Okay, so here's how it's going to go a little bit. You're going to go there, you're going to be super energetic, you're going to have a smile on your face, you're going to have nice clothes on, you're going to be ready to go, eager to help out any way you can. That first week, okay, and you guys have these requirements, or you know this stuff, but I have to remind you, okay? Because I want you to do awesome. So that first week, you're going to be observing, you're going to be taking over a couple of lessons, doing some things. This is not a complete takeover deal. This isn't student teaching. This is pre-student teaching. So take over a couple lessons if you can, do some more. Build the rapport with the kids that week, because that second week when you go back in May, that's when you're going to be doing your TPA. You're going to be videotaping, you're going to be teaching your unit, and as you will know, which you already know and you will find out more and more, if you don't have rapport with the kids, and they know your rules and know what you'll take and not take, you will have a rough time. Okay? Once you build that rapport with kids and they know that they can trust you and that you care about them, they will do almost anything for you. Okay, they will listen, they will try their hardest, but if they don't think they trust you, you're gonna have a long road. Okay, so really use that first week to get to know them a little bit. Okay, that's really important. That'll be even more important when you do your student teaching, but right now it's really important so that you can have a great TPA, which you will hear more about. And I know that your professors have talked to you a bunch about what you're going to be doing for this and you're preparing all year. So if you are elementary, you already know your placement. So this isn't a very exciting meeting. You're not waiting and anticipating. So you already have that contact and it's where you were in the fall. Correct, Faye? It is for
100% of them, yes.
99.9%. It's where you were in the fall. So they're eagerly waiting for you to come back to do this, and you probably already talked about it. When you're there that first week, figure out with your mentor teacher what you're going to be doing your TPA on, because then you have all of April to prepare for it. So you're good to go. Okay? Don't wait until you go back that week in May and go, what am I going to do?
So I'm gonna stop just a second here and I'll jump in because the early childhood people need to hear this too.
Okay.
So, what are your choices? If you're elementary or early childhood, what can you do your TPA in? Math or reading, right? Now, we also give you the option, because you've started the TPA in both of them now, right? You did one in math methods in the fall. You've started one. Have you started it already in developmental reading? You're working on it? Okay. So we give you the option, if you want to complete that TPA, either one, because you're with the same placement, elementary and early childhood people, you can do that. You have not completed it. No matter what you did for either class, you're not done. Get people all the time, it's like, oh, I did this, they turned it in. We're like, no, we're missing 4 things. So you need the 3 to 5 lesson plans consecutive for that whole unit. You need videotape, you need samples of student work from that unit if you're gonna complete one of those. So if you have your video from math in the fall and you're happy with that, and you've got samples of student work, and you've got, you know, the 3 to 5 lessons, or you could fill out what the rest would be, you can do the rest around that. Or same thing with the reading that you're doing now. You can choose to complete either one of those. If you weren't real nuts about what you did, you can certainly start over, okay? You can pick a different, you know, either one, or if you did like math, but you're not nuts with what you did in the fall, pick a different unit, but do the math one. So you can complete the one you've already started, but you are not done with what you did just in those classes. You have to finish it out. What we get back and what your principal, your university supervisor is going to be looking through has to have 3 to 5 days of lessons, and for most elementary that's going to be 5 because they kind of go by time. They want to have like at least 2.5 hours of instruction in there. You need to have the samples of student work from one of those lessons, the video from one of those lessons, and all your commentary based on teaching at least one of those lessons. So everything is tied around that same unit. So now, if you already did that for math and you're going to use that, it's okay that you go into pre-student teaching, and for the 5 days now, 5 days later, you'll teach other things. You're going to teach all kinds of things, right? Especially if you're elementary. So that's fine. But this is what we're looking for, is that one whole package. So it can be from the math, it can be from the reading, or you can just start over. Okay? So now, what if you're not elementary? Which area are you doing your TPA in? Brandon, which area are you doing your TPA in?
Secondary social science.
Very good, because his only choice is secondary social sciences. That's his major, right? Cole, you're going to be doing yours in? PE, yes. Sam?
Math.
Yeah, and Ashley? Math. They don't have choices, okay? They're doing their content area because that's the one that they have. It's only elementary or early childhood that have the choice of the two, okay? Unless you're a double major, in which case then you might have a choice of two. But, okay, so I just wanted to make, that's always a place where we get a ton of questions, so if we can preempt and straight on some of those.
That will happen at your TPA session too, I'm sure.
Yes, then we'll go through more details.
And there will be lots more. Okay, so if you are elementary and you already know that placement, make another contact to them and say, hey, these are the dates that I'm going to be coming. I'll be here March, okay? I'll be there on spring break. I can't wait. You know, my other friends are going to Daytona, but I'm going there. I'm sure that's exactly how that's going to go.
It rained in Daytona for the whole weekend, so you didn't miss anything.
It stopped raining in time for the race to get in, though.
They
We
got
were
it
watching.
last night.
But did stop by 8. So make sure you're making that contact. Again, it's just a professional thing to do. If you are a secondary student and this placement is a new place for you and you're in a, you haven't been there, You need to make sure you're making that contact like right away. Okay? You will have the information of your university supervisor, you'll have the information of your mentor teacher. Start making those contacts immediately. Okay? And get planning on when it's gonna be in May. Okay? So that so the first time that you meet them, it's not like, hey, I didn't call you or email you or do anything, but I'm gonna be in your room for the week, because even though we've contacted them, it's been a while and they need to hear from you. They're waiting for that. And then they'll tell you things like, hey, I usually get here by this time. School starts at, okay, every school starts at a different time, so keep in mind. I mean, I'm serious that I went into elementary because I was pretty sure they all started at 9. They don't, just for the record. Okay, so think about that. Make sure you know what time they start. Make sure you're there. You are a teacher for the week. So if there are after-school meetings, I would suggest you get there. Anything you can do for extra professional development, all goes on your resume. Okay, it's a week. Give it all you've got. I mean, go full steam. And if they have after-school PLC meetings at their grade level team, ask if you can be included. You'll need to be during student teaching, but for this, anything you can do, your name is going to the top of their list. Okay? So when it's, hey, we have our choir concert or our band concert or something that night, and the kids in your room say, are you gonna come? Yeah, I'll see if I can get there. And maybe you can't. You might work or have something else going on. But if you can be there, again, they'll start walking out order for you, so make sure you're doing that. Okay? Anybody have any dying questions that everybody needs to know? And remember, we're putting this up so that other people may have your same question, so please ask it if you have a question.
I have something I'd like to say.
Oh, well,
Not bad.
Is it our dance routine time?
Yeah. We better practice.
Let me get this adjusted.
I just want to say, if you are in a new site, like secondary people, you might be in a new site, make sure that first contact is done via phone, even though we've provided you with an email, because more than likely the school has really tight security and your email will not get to the classroom mentor. So call the school and you'll be talking to the secretary or the administrative assistant and tell them, I need to talk to whatever the teacher's name is, when is a good time to call them. And make that first contact by phone. And then after that, you can say, can we email and so forth. The other thing I want to say to secondary people, this is a very specific time for you to have an experience either in senior high or middle school. Because you will be doing the opposite grade band when you are student teaching. So pay attention to what it says on your placement. If you are in a middle school classroom and and your mentor teacher happens to teach middle school and some high school, the important thing to remember, if you are assigned as a middle school placement, then do your TPA, and your university supervision should be viewed when you're doing middle school. And you can still gain experience teaching at the high school, but if it says middle school on your placement, then make sure you are doing it during middle school time. Vice versa, if it says senior high and you also teach some junior high or middle school, then make sure your TPA is done at the senior high level, because that will determine what your evaluation says. So if your evaluation comes back to me and it says middle school and I have assigned you to middle school, we are set. If it doesn't, then I have to change your student teaching experience, because the Board of Teaching will be watching for that kind of a grade band. If you have any questions on that, just come down and talk to me in my office, okay? Another common question I'll get for elementary, if you are placed in a 4th, 5th, or 6th grade classroom, lots of times you stop in and you say, which teacher do I go with? Because one teacher teaches reading, and one teacher teaches math, and one teacher has social or science. Work that out with your team. It's usually different for every student. You may stay with one teacher and do what that teacher does, or they may have you move with the students that have experience in a lot of different subjects, and you will have a lot of different mentors, but you are following the students. So you work that out with your team that you're in, see what they want to do. There might be a particular teacher that is not going to host you, and so they'll work you around how that goes. But see if you can figure that out. More than likely you will have a variety of experiences. There, that's my dance.
Ta-da. Anybody have any questions? And always, where our offices are. Come down at any time. Do you have one?
Yeah, how many different subjects do you want to, for us to hit on? Reading, math,
Well, you'll be, in elementary, are you elementary?
Yeah.
Well, you'll be there all day.
Yeah.
So obviously you will be part of all of them. Remember, your TPA will be in one subject. So that's gonna be the majority of your teaching experience, but you will be there all day. So if the teacher says, hey, do you wanna do the spelling lesson tomorrow? Yeah. I mean, do as much as you can, but really focus on your area that you will be doing your TPA on. Joanne, did you have a question?
Is there anybody in here that's doing the week of special education? Okay, so you've already done, have the three of you already done a TPA in your replacement? Before?
For now.
For now? So you're just doing the week, and you've already done the TPA? All right, we'll talk when they get done.
And their week will be following, and I should just mention that, the special ed week will be one following week, and it will be after your week in May.
If
Okay.
you're doing both.
You'll be doing both, so you'll do your week in May, that you'll decide on this yellow sheet, and give that number back to us, remember how we're gonna do that? And then the following week in May, you will do your special ed placement, and those will come out later. We wanted to keep them as separate as possible, and you will do your TPA for Ed 304, not SPED 304. Okay?
And if you're only doing SPED and you're done with Ed 304, those placements are not secured yet. So you will not, you're more than likely to be doing them in May, because the mentor teachers are not prepared for you to come.
Right.
in.
Is this class have any just plain SPED 304? This is an Ed 304 class, right?
This is
That's
everybody.
stacked. This is everybody.
They
They all
choose
can
what
come.
to-
Yeah. Do we have anybody who's doing just the SPED 304 this semester in this group?
No, nobody, okay, so, cause that will be a little bit of a different situation, but everybody else, you already have the 2 weeks, in March, and then one in May, and then if you're doing that SPED, it will be after that week in May. Okay? Okay, so, everybody will be taking a yellow sheet, we can pass those out, and then we will get these, is there a special way you'd like these handed out, Ron? Did you want it now?
I think we can
Do you
just
have
do-
more to teach?
Not a whole lot's more answering questions than anything,
Oh,
so.
because once they get these, it's over.
Yeah.
You will be-
Okay, you can't open them. No, you
Yeah,
can,
right.
but, yeah, so.
Right,
Yeah.
right, too bad, here's your Christmas present, never
Yeah.
mind.
But we can just call names and pass them out, and then we'll see
Okay.
what kind of questions there are.
Okay, and if you have any more questions that we can answer, we'd be glad to help too. All right, Mr.